Good morning, and welcome to today's episode of the Christ Project podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the Christ Project, the movement that's happening all over the planet. It's I call it the Christ Project. Not a word that I came up with, but it was Pierre Teilhard de Chardin who came up with that terminology, the Christ Project. And it was a project that came from the universe. It is the project that we are living in. It is the movement that we're having. So today's episode is going to be all about me helping you understand why I feel so called to coach, teach, and mentor this movement. And my personal story, why I'm doing this, what you can expect to get it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happens in this upcoming mastermind. I have an upcoming mastermind beginning on Monday, October the 7th. It is a 90-day program based on the teachings of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin and the new spiritual exercises. Let me find the book here. This book right here, the new spiritual exercises in the spirit of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, was written by Louis M. Savary. Whether you take my mastermind or you don't take my mastermind, I cannot encourage you enough to get this book. Get a hard copy, paper copy of this book and begin to work the exercises. What I'm going to be offering you is a guide through those exercises. I'm not going to reinvent it, because this book, this is how I came to know this. About 3 years ago, I went to Nairobi to meet a man named Abba Henry, who turned out to be one of my best friends, my business partner, and now a co-founder of our nonprofit, the Diamond Mind Academy. Completely changed my life. I did that in November. I came back after making all these commitments to this wonderful man that I really wanted to support and really felt a deep connection to and a love for. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I don't know quite how I got the book, but it arrived in my mailbox. And as I began to go, I thought, wow, first of all, the exercises are things that I've been doing since I started meditating when I was 25 years old. So the thing about it is, it's not that the things that are in here are anything really new. It's just a different perspective of it. It's how to order them in a daily practice so that you can really tap into that zone of genius whenever you want to. Really, and you want to start your day that way, because it's in that zone of genius. It's in that, what you might call, some people call it the kingdom of heaven. You can call it the quantum field. I call it the zone of genius. To get into that higher level of consciousness where we're just living on intuition. We're living in the moment to moment, guided by our intuition. That's the zone of genius. You're not thinking. One of the best ways to think about this is, if you're a musician, when you're playing your music, you're not thinking. You're playing with your feeling. But you can do that with everything in life, because that feeling, that presence that you experience through your heart, it's always available. As a matter of fact, that is our mission. That is why we are here. From what I'm learning, is that we are here to evolve into what is called the Godhead. Last night, I was in a class. I go to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation Montclair in Montclair, New Jersey. And last night I was attending an adult education class. And what they were talking about were the 6 stages of faith. And the 6 stages of faith, which they described, was exactly what the Christ Project is. I had it here on my desk a minute ago. I wonder where I put it. I don't know where it is at the moment, but is that it was the 6 day, and it's exactly what the Christ Project is: living in the present moment with a purpose, with a mission, with a sense of connection, and understanding that we're all one interconnected energy field of creation and love. That is the Christ Project, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I got back, I'll go back to my story again. I got back in January and I thought, how in the hell I don't know what I'm doing. I was certainly my coaching business, everything was upside down. I was clearly living in a altered state of mind after meeting Abba and going to Kenya. I just didn't quite understand how to actually put it into what to do with it. And then this book arrived, and I began to read it and go through and I was like, it wasn't teaching me anything new. It was reminding me of what I already knew, but it was putting it into a format daily that allowed me to get the most efficient, most effective use out of my morning practice. So this is the thing you need to know. You're not going to get into your zone of genius without a morning practice. If you want to manifest, the number one thing you must do is have a daily practice of meditation. There is no way to get in there unless you open your heart, quiet your mind, listen to your heart, be still and listen for that connection to the divine. And you can feel it in your heart. You actually feel it opening. And it's wonderful. And the exercises take you through that peace. So I started working the exercises, and it guided me. It allowed me to get into that space where I was so deeply connected to my intuition. I wasn't thinking what was going to happen in 30 minutes. I had plans for the day, things that I wanted to accomplish. Don't get me wrong. I still need to make plans, and I still need to make milestones. But actually how it's going to happen, I don't know that until I get there. Like, I don't know how this podcast is going to happen until right now. And now that I'm here. And I know what I want to say. I know what I want to talk about, and I'm going to be here at the right time. But I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth in the next 10 minutes because I'm so present to what's going on right now. But I do have an intention, and that is to help you understand some of the things that you're going to get if you take this mastermind. You're going to learn exactly what I learned, and I'm going to guide you through these exercises, and you're going to create a daily practice that actually works. If you're going to have a daily practice, you might as well have one that's going to absolutely work no matter what happens, okay? Because once you get into that zone of genius in the morning, you're ready for the whole day, no matter what the world puts at you. And you know the world puts challenges at you, but you begin to see challenges as opportunities. You begin to understand that fear is an energy. And if we feel the energy of fear, if we really tap into the energy, it can pull us deeper into our hearts, because below that fear, almost every single time, is some sadness, is grief. You fear something's going to be lost. You fear you're going to lose something that you care about. You fear that you're not going to get your want. You're afraid that something you really want is not going to happen. Or you're afraid for, like right now, I felt some fear. One of our leaders, Abba, is in jail right now. He's been falsely arrested, and he's being held for ransom, basically, by the local authorities in Africa. It's corrupt, and it's part of living in and one of the things I'll talk about later, and I really need some help, is we're trying to raise $5,000. We're trying to raise enough money to get Abba out of prison, out of jail, out of the local authorities. And then we want to raise enough for a reserve funds, because this is going to happen. This is just part of the environment that we're working in. As refugees, you're very vulnerable to the local authorities doing all kinds of things to you to get money out of you, because we're just a commodity to them. And you could fight the system and say it's all wrong, but the reality I'm not going to change the system in Africa. So I got to learn to work with it. So one of the things we're doing, and it's part of the Christ Project, is how do we actively come out in the world to serve other people and help other people? One of the ways I'm doing it is the work I do in the Diamond Mind Academy, where our mission is to safely resettle marginalized Africans who have been impacted by the Ugandan government passing the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, All the people, you don't have to be gay to be impacted by it. You could be a friend of a gay person. You could just be a mother of a gay person, or you could just be. It doesn't have to be gay. That's what everybody is suffering. I'll tell you who's suffering the most from what's happening in Africa are the mamas and daddies who've been separated from their children by the church, by the Anglican Church. This is all rooted in what the Anglican Church taught, teaching Africans that being anything but a heterosexual normative, powerful, mean person, ruler, dictator, meant that something's wrong with you. Well, I got news for you. They're wrong. And one of the things we want to do, one of the things is to bring that, is to empower the African people to get their country back. Right now, we're helping them get here because it's just not safe for them to live there. But the longer term goal is to turn Africa upside down to the truth. Because underneath all that fear and anger are some very heartbroken mothers and daddies. Because I know their kids and their children love their parents and are heartbroken, miss them. They're their parents, they're their mothers and their fathers. But the Church of England, the Anglican Church, has become so powerful, egged on by American evangelicals to create that horrible law, which makes it illegal to be gay, punishable by death or life in prison. And even if you're a friend of someone or you try to help someone, you can be put in jail for 20 years. I mean, it's just horrible. But that's not the African people. That is not the African people. The African people love their children and love their parents. They know, and if they could take away this ridiculous, mean, cruel rule or belief that you're a curse or something's wrong with you and you should be killed if you were born anything but heteronormative, and everybody's on a scale. There's no such thing as 100% heterosexual or 100% homosexual. They're all on a spectrum. So the whole idea is just complete nonsense. But when you're living under a blanket of fear, you can't see the truth. And that's what the Christ Project is also about. It's about helping people to see the truth, helping people to cut through the fear, feel the fear, and then recognize beneath the fear is usually some deep sadness, and sadness and grief is the gateway to the heart. And as you begin to feel the sadness, you'll begin to feel your heart opening with compassion and empathy for other people. And then you want to plug in, and you wouldn't dream of hurting anyone else. All you want to do is serve yourself, serve others, and serve God. And that's what the Christ Project, again, is all about. It's about being in a full relationship with the universe, with the creator of all things, to actively participate in the evolution of humankind. Let's do a little imagining. So back to my story again, before I get to the imagining. I get kind of lost, get kind of distracted here. Back to the story. That this book, I mean, if you were look at inside, it's pages and pages of highlighted stuff. I lived by this book. This book was my guide. I had nothing else to go by. I've had a long practice, so a lot of the things that they told me to do, it suggested I do every day, were very easy for me to do. I'd been doing them. I had just never done them in this sequence with this intention. And remember, its intention is what really drives the show. If you set an intention every day to follow these exercises and get into your zone, you will have it. Again, I'll say that again. If you will make it your intention every day to the first thing you do is to get into your zone of genius. By following these exercises, your life will begin to unfold in ways that are so magical and so exciting. And many of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you're already doing it. You're already doing it. So I'm excited about doing it because I've gone through this book 2 or 3 times. So I'm looking forward to going through it again with you as your guide, because I'll go deeper in myself. As a group, it's meant for a group. And every time I've done it by myself. And I thought, well, I need to do this with somebody else. Let me be a performer. And I decided in August that I was going to do this. I was going to bring this to them. That was my calling. The universe said, Martin, you're going to take this book. You're going to go out and you're going to guide. You're going to connect to the universe through the internet and the help of AI. And you're going to go out there and you're going to begin to teach this, preach this stuff, teach people how to get into this, because it's just such a wonderful way to live. It's exciting. And it's going to be free. All you got to do is register. All you got to do is go to our website, www.diamondmindacademy.org, and register. Let me see, somebody's commenting something. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Shushu. Thank you for acknowledging that. Here, let me give you the link into the chat to register for the Christ Project too. Hold on a second here. There's the link to register for the Christ Project Mastermind, which again is starting next Monday, and you can join anytime. The thing that I like about my cohorts is that while we'll be going through the book, we will be recording every single episode live. We'll be doing them live on Zoom, but then when we record every one of them, you can always catch up there. But what I find in doing is it's doing spiritual exercises. So it's not. Yes, in ways it kind of builds on each other, but it's not. You could start on the middle of the book and really pick up from there. So we're gonna meet you where you are. You're gonna show up, and we're gonna have a good time, because we're gonna learn the exercises, whether they're in the exact order that they come in the book. We're gonna start out in the book, but you may not be able to get there on the first day, and we want people to be able to join and step into our world whenever they feel like it. So you're always welcome. But we'd like you to come and start with us in the beginning, which is next Monday at 11 o'clock. But I know in today's world it's impossible, which is why it's so important that we have replays and we have opportunities for backup. And also, it's just you just watch. If you can't come to the live portion, you can watch, and then you can still work the exercises. I'm just going to guide you through the exercises. You're going to do the exercises. You're going to read the book and do the exercises on your own. And then we're going to have a meeting every week, a mastermind, to talk about what do we learn, how are we doing it as a group, and how are we moving forward, and share certain things. So it's really an opportunity for us to take this, for me to take this book to a new level by teaching it to you and mastering the exercises. But I tell you, they work. They absolutely work. I want to read something from our website that describes the Christ Project Mastermind. It's a free virtual journey to teach you the secret to living the magnificent life you're meant to live. Join us in this transformative 90-day mastermind to unlock your true potential and turn your dreams into reality. I know there's a lot of people out there selling manifestation. That I applaud everybody, everything, but not everybody actually. It's not everybody knows really. You can't. First of all, a lot of people try to teach you how to teach you how to spiritually bypass the dark stuff. You can't. You got to deal with the shadows, and that's what makes this work so real. Is that we are going to go in and we're going to look at those shadows. We're going to look at our fears, because it's in that that we empower ourselves to get free and to live the project. But not everyone out there that you see is really trying to sell an idea of manifesting. And if it sounds like woo-woo, it is. You know, I want to manifest a house with an infinity pool in Puerto Rico. Well, I might get that. But what I can tell you about manifesting and doing it right is you have to align your heart, your mind, your soul, your body with the frequency of the universe. And anything that personal and narcissistic is probably not going to line up. The universe doesn't really care what kind of house you live in. But it does care about what you're doing to help the world and to be part of the Christ Project. So if you want to learn how to really manifest to create the world you want to live in which for me is a world of peace and prosperity for everyone, then you want to join our program. You want to read this book. Again, I'll say, even I'll put the book up again, even if you don't take my class, I can't recommend enough this book to you. Get the book, start doing the exercises, and you'll say, wait a minute, I'd love to have some help with this. I'd love to have somebody guide me through these exercises. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to guide you through the exercises every week. And every week I do it every day. And then I'm going to do that like you. I'm going to be doing the exercises every day from week to week along with you. And then we're going to get together and we're going to discuss it. So I want to read you really quickly again how we define it. We define, the question is on the website is, what is the Christ Project? First, let's be clear about what it's not. The Christ Project is not a religious institution or a belief system by human hands. It is not tied to any dogma or exclusive to Christians. That's what it's not. The Christ Project is a global spiritual movement initiated by God over 2,000 years ago with the birth of Jesus Christ. It's a call for all of humanity to awaken to a higher consciousness of love, peace, and prosperity. And it's happening. Kintu didn't just come up with this. It really began to flourish coming through the pandemic, when we were all forced into isolation in front of our, and AI took off and virtual reality took, and the world became so much more magical and also so much smaller. That's how I'm involved in Africa. It's like people in Africa are right in my backyard. You know, we live virtually and we get more and more virtually as advanced technology comes in. It's going to get even more exciting as we go forward. And I invite you not to be afraid of AI, but to embrace it. Yeah, it's going to have, like everything that's created, is going to have a shadow side to it. But the more of us that love it and use it properly as a tool to get our messages out in a good way, it's a great way. It's going to become a great tool. It's going to be a great help to the world. But like everything, it's going to, you need to understand it, and you need to be understanding of something and how it can be dangerous. Let me continue. This project invites us to recognize the divine energy within ourselves, what we call the Christ consciousness, and to co-create a new world built on love, unity, and abundance. By embracing this energy, we manifest our highest potential and bring about a more peaceful, prosperous planet for everyone. So if that resonates with you, if that's the kind of world you want to live in, and you may already do live in that world. It's about just expanding it. You know, I live in this world all the time, but the more I do it, the more I expand it, the more I grow, the more I develop, the more connected I get, and the more effortless my life becomes. I very, very, very rarely worry too much anymore. Because what am I going to worry about? There's nothing to worry about. Everything is happening in divine orchestration. Even the things we don't like, when you look back on them, those were the opportunities to grow if we didn't resist them. So there's a lot of juicy stuff that we're going to be doing over those 90 days. Like again, it's only going to be 1 hour with me a week. And if you can't make that 1 hour, then you can always, once you register, you'll always have access to the replay. So you can fully participate and never actually show up for one of the live sessions, I'm trying to tell you. In today's world, we live virtually. And if you prefer, sometimes the schedule doesn't work. This is particularly true for some of my friends in Africa. It's just too late for them. So they plan to show up and watch the replay and do the exercises on their schedule. You see, it's important. More people watch the replays of things. More people are going to watch the replay of this than are here right now, I can promise you. That's the way the world works. It's wonderful. You know, energetically, I'm with you whenever I'm with you, and you're with me whenever you're with me. Okay. So that's what we've got coming up. And let me just give you some other things here. 7 wonderful. I'm just going to read this off to you off our website so you can see. So I want you to go to the website and take a look at it. But I'm just going to read it off the website for you real quick. 7 wonderful things you will gain from this mastermind. Spiritual awakening. Awaken to the Christ consciousness and feel deeply connected to all of life. Does that sound like something you'd like to do? Clarity of purpose. Understand your true mission and how to live it. Emotional mastery. Learn to transmute fear and negativity into love. Manifestation mastery. Harness the power of your thoughts, feelings, and imagination to create the life you desire. It's all based on the law of attraction. And I've talked about that a lot of times, but I have a new roof on my house that I manifested a year ago that I still had to pay for. So it was a gift from the state of New Jersey. So we can manifest all kinds of things. Abundance mindset. We will teach you how to shift your consciousness to one of abundance, knowing that you are worthy of all good things. Brene Brown's done a lot of work on vulnerability and worthiness. And the only difference between people who live lives of abundance and prosperity is because they believe they're worthy of it. If you don't believe you're worthy of it, then you're not going to have it. But the problem is, it's not you that doesn't believe you're worthy. It's your shadow. Everybody has one. The shadow is always telling us we're not worthy, we're not good enough, whatever, whatever, whatever. Our work is to transcend that ego shadow and actually to turn it into your servant, turn it into your friend, to support you. It makes a wonderful servant, but it makes a tyrant master. You know, if you got somebody who's constantly trying to prove to you you're unworthy, and for some of us, at least for me, for part of my life, it did a pretty good job of making me feel like I was unworthy of having a wonderful life. And that's the freedom you're going to get, is that freedom to know you're worthy of an absolutely wonderful life. That's what Jesus was trying to teach us. To love your life, to love your God, to love yourself with all your love. Love is always the answer. That is the Christ Project. You will find peace and joy. Just experiencing the kingdom of heaven in your everyday life, experiencing like heaven on earth. It is heaven on earth if you just open your eyes to it and raise your consciousness to that. And the 7th thing is a supportive community. You know, be part of a community that uplifts and inspires you, who feels the same way you do, who wants a better world, and doesn't want to live under these mean, cruel tyrants any longer. And that's about to shift. It's about to shift here in America. Between now and the end of the year, we're about to step into some brand new leadership here. And it's exciting. The world needs some mothering and fathering. It needs some parenting. And Kamala and Coach Harris are capable. They've got so much love, so much heart, such a deep connection to the divine through their own spiritual. I don't know what their practices are, but I can tell you by just observing them and feeling the energy, they've got a deep connection to the divine. They are living in the Christ Project. They don't probably call it the Christ Project. I don't know what they call it specifically, but it's all the same thing. It's all becoming aware that we're all interconnected, we're all one, and we're all here to love, serve, and support one another in life. And that will turn the planet Earth into a much more an ambassador planet. Right now, we're a young, kind of a rebellious place over here. With all this chaos and war and anger and all, it's exhausting. We're all ready to let that go, turn over a new page, like Kamala Harris says, and start a new chapter in our lives and move forward. And this is an opportunity to move forward with me. Will you join me? Will you join me at this and just give it a shot? Get the book, read it, see if it doesn't change your life. it certainly has changed mine, and I have never been happier and healthier than I am right now. I just turned 70 years old. So before I sign out today, I do want to make you aware that we're currently having, and I don't like to use this word of crisis because we have it all the time, but we have a need for some emergency funds right now. We don't have any at the Diamond Mine Academy. One of our leaders is currently been falsely accused in a scheme to scam us for money, which is what they do. It's part of living in a country where the government is corrupt. We like to see that come to an end, but it's the way it is in Africa. And we are working right now to raise money. We need $600 to get Abba out of detention. But we're looking to raise $5,000 as an emergency fund for these situations in the future, because it's a way of doing business. This is not the first time this has happened, and it's not going to be the last time, because that's the way and they prey, the predators prey on the refugees because they can, and if they think the refugee might have a connection in the United States like Abba does, then they prey on you even more to get money out of you. That's what they want. It's extortion. It's illegal in the United States, but it's a way of business in Kenya and Uganda and other parts of the world, in African countries. It's unfortunate. But that was another thing that was taught to them by the unfair power struggles taught to them by the white man coming from Europe. This is the remnants of white colonization. And the good news is the Christ Project is about to take that full circle. And we're going to help the Africans get their power back and their children back from this ridiculous demonology that's happened because of the Americans, evangelicals, and the Anglican Church in Africa having so much power and such connection with the government system. It's a classic example of how destructive having your church and your government connected into one power structure. Because people are suffering, people are dying. There's genocide happening in Africa right now. And the Christ Project and what we're doing at the Diamond Mine is what we're doing to address it. I mean, there are people right now who are addressing the crisis that's happening in North Carolina due to the hurricane. There's no shortages of crises that people are helping each other, and that's the beauty of there's plenty to help each other out. It's such a rewarding feeling. So if you could feel it in your heart to be a bit generous right now, we would kindly request that you go over. As my friend, help. My friend he's my friend above everything else. Abba is my friend, and my friend is sitting in a dark jail somewhere with mosquitoes and hasn't eaten. He feels like he's got malaria again, and he needs to get out, and we need to raise the money to get him out. And I love him, and I can't stand it that him and all of my friends, knowing what they're living in, it's just heartbreaking for me. It's heartbreaking. And I think the more you got to get involved, go over to our website and just see what's going on. There's a wonderful film over there, an 8-minute video. It talks about all this. You can find out, you can make a donation. You can find out about all the things we're doing on our website, and you can register for this upcoming mastermind, all on our website at www.diamondmine, M-I-N-E, not the mind, but like a diamond mine, because we found a mine full of brilliant diamonds in Africa. So we call it the Diamond Mine Academy.org. We're a 501c3 organization. So if you want to make a donation, it's tax deductible. Come meet us over there and send me some comments. And I hope you'll register, and I hope I'll see you on Monday at 11 o'clock on Zoom with this exciting new 90-day mastermind. So for today, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I love you so much. Kintu.